Hello everyone. Very good morning to you all. We are just waiting for a few more participants to join. We'll start probably in the next couple of minutes. Hello everyone. Once again, a very good morning to you all. I uh,
Sir, your voice is not clear.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Am I audible?
yeah, you are audible.
Okay. Good morning, all, and
I hope yesterday's session was helpful in some way to you, clearing your basic doubts about HTML and CSS. And we hope that you build on those basic concepts to not only build your own web page, but also to have more more interactive sites later on, and learn to give the aesthetic look to it. So in all, we hope that yesterday's session was helpful. Today we will be mostly talking on the various doubts that you might have had while solving questions, and in any way, in any concept that you may have come across and have faced problems. So this session today is mostly dedicated on your doubts and doubts from your end. May it come from week one or week one content or week two content. So we will try to address those questions. And yeah, it also these doubts can also be from any of the question section that you may have come across while solving activity questions or practice questions. Okay, and again, the way we did the going through forward, the way we did in the live session, we brought some of the slides to you, some asked some basic questions, took your view on those questions, and then maybe added some things that may have missed by you all in understanding. Okay, and we will move forward with those slides now in a short. So I'll be asking Abhishek to present, and in the same way, the way we did in the live sessions. Okay. So Abhishek, can you share the
Yeah.
slides?
Shall we check if participants are able to unmute themselves? Are you able to speak?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I am able to unmute.
Yeah, as others mentioned, we will run through a set of slides, and along with that, we'll take up your queries. Most probably, your queries might get resolved while going through those slides also. So we'll start with it. Yeah, is my screen visible?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Others, just let me know whenever my voice breaks or I'm not audible. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I hope you all are already familiar with what this Mentimeter tool is. So I would request all of you to please go to menti.com and use the code mentioned here in the middle of the screen or on the top of the screen also. So please go to menti.com and use the code 44149859 so that you can also answer for the questions that we'll put up front here, and we can have a quality discussion. I would request all of you to please log into menti.com. We have 15 people in the meeting. We just have got 7 people here. I would request all of you to please don't refrain from answering here. So others, shall we move ahead?
Yes, Abhishek, we can move ahead now. I guess.
We have got 8 people here.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. Means the code is available in the chat also. If you want to log in, you could use that code anytime. We'll move to our first slide. Well, so this is the first question upfront here. What do you mean by the document object model? So we have seen some queries being raised in the discussion forum also regarding this DEOM. So please feel free to answer whatever you feel it means, and we'll have a good discussion here. That we hope will be beneficial for all of you. So if you are not able to see this question, please refresh your screens and please click on the prompt, whatever is there on your screen, in order to come to the first slide, this question. So, Adarsh, shall we open up the discussion? We have 8
Yeah. So we've
responses.
got 8 responses now. Yeah, 10 responses. So that is a good number. I guess we can start. Okay. Okay. So document object model is the tree-like structure that hierarchically defines the nested tags within tags. Okay. Tree structure of HTML, XML code. Okay, that is what we see mostly. Document object model is a cross-platform and language-independent interface that treats an HTML document as a tree structure wherein each node is an object representing a part of the document. Okay. Okay, so like this looks like a tree of statements, which shows it is a tree-like structure of HTML documents, right? So the one thing that we need to understand that why do we actually need document object model, right? So so is it something like that we came up with an idea? Okay, let's organize our document in something tree-like structure. It looks good, right? So this is not the something that we want to decorate, and it's just a random idea that came into mind to organize a document. Okay, so the main purpose of having a document object model, what it does is it is a data representation. Okay, it represents our document. Okay, and represents how it represents it with the help of structure. That is, it shows what is the structure of my document and also the content of my document. Okay, and why is this helpful to me to have this structure and content of the document? Because when I want to interact with my document. That is, when I want to have certain changes in my document. Let's say I want to change the structure of my document. Okay, I can directly jump onto document object model, look what is the structure and change it. Okay, if I want to change certain content of my document, I can jump into DOM, see what is the content of my document in a structured way and change it, right? So this is where the idea of descriptive language comes into, or descriptive markup comes into picture, right? In the previous sessions, we have discussed about markups, and we have also mentioned that why descriptive markup is beneficial in long run, because of its behavior of stating out, okay, this is this tag, this is this tag, and this is this tag. So how, and yeah, in that session we have mentioned that descriptive language in the later run, when we come back to the document and want to check, okay, what is my title comprising of. So there, how it does is, it does is with the help of document object model, right? So document object model is not only an idea of making a document structured in a tree like structure, but it is the idea of having accessibility to not only the structure, that is, to have an access to each of the elements of my document, but also its content, right? So this is the basic idea of having document object model, which is very important in interacting with our document. And as someone mentioned that it is used to, in one of the responses, it was said it is used to document or have a structure of HTML or XML documents. So it is not, see, mostly we see document object model in HTML and XML, in the structure of HTML and XML documents. But do you really think that only HTML and XML documents can be structured or modeled? No, right? So any structure which is giving me a brief idea, or sorry, not the brief even, the detailed idea of what is my structure, what are the nodes, what is the content, is document object model. So it doesn't have to be any language dependency there. Okay, so it is a language independent, platform independent, right? So I guess this is clear. Anything that is out of the scope you felt, okay, how is this, how's that? Mostly it was theoretical, but this is what you do in what you need to understand by having a concept of document object model. So is there any doubt regarding to that? I can take it.
Sir, is it the normal model that we use to write our codes? Like we assign a head and then body, and inside that we write in a form of header and all those, or is it something different to what we do normally? Like,
See, the thing that you are seeing is an HTML document. Okay, defining a head tag, defining the body and all. Okay, so that is what you write, so that you understand what you are writing as an HTML code, what you want the browser to render. Okay, consider this as a heading, consider this as a paragraph, and write. But what is in between? How is your interpretation is exactly same as the browser interpretation? Okay, so these tags individually act as node of document object model. So what happens in between your document, your creation of HTML document and it being rendered by the browser are two different locations, right? Locations as in are two different points. So whatever happens in between that happens with the help of document object.
okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah, are you clear with this?
Yeah, sir. So basically, in this week, we only covered the basic definition of object document model, right? We
Yeah.
didn't coded anything according to that.
Actually, whatever you coded in HTML was coded according to that.
Okay, okay, okay. Got it.
Yeah, it happens.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, it happens accordingly. Whatever you have written internally, a tree-like structure is become. You don't have to make it. Yeah, you can make it. I'm not saying you cannot, but you don't have to make it for running basic HTML document.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, Adarsh, actually, I'm not able to share my screen. I guess I have been revoked the co-host access.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Meanwhile, can we discuss if anyone has any query regarding document object model? Anyone?
Yeah, I have just one doubt. How is this document object model can be seen in the context of class, object, method, and all that?
See, as we have said, that each node of the tree will act as an object, and each object will have some properties, will have some attributes. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So see how a tree structure is actually formed is you will start parsing your HTML document from the top of it. Right. Firstly, you will encounter that we have a doc type HTML, the doc type declaration, right? Or maybe I can share my screen. I guess I have been given the access. So that be even more clear to you. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes, it's visible.
So are you able to see the paint screen?
Yes, sir.
So see, what happens is the root node of a this dome, this tree structure, it will
Abhishek, your voice
Abhishek,
is
your
breaking.
voice, yeah, your voice is breaking.
HTML, right? It will be the first. Adarsh, is it okay now?
Yeah. Now I think it is. So I think you just repeat whatever you said. Okay.
Yeah, actually, it's been raining and facing some network issues frequently for that. Okay, well, anyways, yeah, what I'm saying is that a document object model is actually created after parsing an HTML document. So when the browser will start parsing the HTML document, the very first element that browser will encounter is the DTD, that is document type definition, and that is usually doc type HTML in a HTML file. Is it okay?
Yes.
Now, after that, it will encounter one more tag that is HTML, right? The HTML root tag. Okay. Now, within this HTML tag, we might have many other tags. For example, we may have the head tag. Also, we can have the body tag. So here, why we are saying that each node is an object? Because it has its own properties, it has its own attributes, or it might be having a different subtree in it. Now, for example, this head tag, we are saying that it is an object, but this head tag itself can have multiple elements in it. For example, it can have the title. Also, it can have the head tag also. Oh, sorry, meta. It can have title, it can have meta. And if we will talk about this title, so title will have some text, right? So it can have the text something, whatever you want to have. Let's say my first. And this meta can have some other information like what is the character set you are using, maybe some other things that require that tells you something more about the document or the content that you have in the body tag. And here the body, it can also have multiple tags. Let's say it have h1, let's say it have p, and let's say it can have many other let's say div, something like that. So this is how we actually create a document or a tree-like structure of an HTML document while parsing through it. And here we are seeing that each node, that means this doc type HTML, this HTML, this head, all of them are acting as an object. Now,
Each node is a class or an object?
sorry?
Each node is a class or an object?
No, it is acting as an object.
Okay, it is an object of class something, of class head, or
Yeah.
each instance of P inside body is an object of class paragraph. I am just trying to understand it from that OOP perspective.
Abhishek, are you speaking?
Yeah, you could say. Yeah, yes, Adarsh, I'm speaking.
Okay, actually, I guess there is a lag from your side.
Still there is a lag.
Okay, you go ahead. We'll see.
Okay. All right. So yeah, the one who was asking the query, can you please elaborate if you have anything to ask here?
Yeah, I was just trying to understand it from the object-oriented perspective. So, for example, if you have that 2 or 3 P objects within the body, so each P is an object of class paragraph, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Abhishek, can I?
Yeah, sure, sir, sure.
Yeah, basically there is a kind of class called as a node type. So each of these tags are basically node type objects.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, is it clear or?
Yes, sir.
So, Adarsh, shall we move to the next question?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next question is here. What is the order of precedence of different types of CSS? So Adarsh, would you like to add some constraints here? What type of CSS you are talking about?
I'm thinking if I should say something, because if I say in that manner, then there may be a change of thought. Okay, so you have to consider only those CSS which you know. Okay, those type of CSS which you have been studying from past 1 or 2 weeks. Okay, nothing new, nothing from outside. Is that clear? So there, like what I want to say is there are 3 types of CSS that you have come across in the videos. So, like in the lectures. So you have to consider only those 3 types of CSS as the contender, and then you have to see, okay, what is the order of precedence.
If you are not able to see these questions, please refresh your screens or please click on the prompt on your screen, something like next slide or next question. We would request each and everyone to please answer this question. Adarsh, would you like to wait or?
Hello.
Yeah, Adarsh, would you like to start or wait for a few more seconds?
I think like we can wait for some time. Let's say we'll wait for like 2 to 3 more responses and then. The responses seem to have saturated. Okay, we can go ahead.
Can you see the results?
Yes. Okay, so yeah. So okay, 3 words answer: inline, internal, external. Okay, inline as the highest precedence is what most of the people say and understand. Internal and then external. Right, and then cascading style sheets were inspired by Tamil superstar Rajinikanth. Okay. Would like to know in what sense is this statement made. But okay, we'll talk about that concept first. Inline is the highest one. Within the body is middle precedence. The link file is the last. Okay, so what you mean is inline has the highest. The one with the middle is something that is called as internal, that is embedded into the HTML. And the third one is the file link from the outside is the external CSS. Okay. There's a response called inline CSS greater than style tag CSS. greater than external CSS. So is there a problem with naming internal CSS? Because style tag CSS is what I understand you meant by internal CSS. Okay, so first we can talk on what is what. Okay, what CSS is called what. Okay, so the styling that is made or defined with the help of tag itself within the tag, okay, is called inline CSS, because you are adding style in line with the tag. That's why it is called as inline CSS. Okay, internal CSS is that CSS which is added in the head tag, okay, with the help of style element, okay, style attribute. So that CSS is called as internal CSS, which is outside your body but embedded into the HTML document, okay, integrated with the HTML document. That is internal CSS. And the third one is external CSS, which the use of which we have done in the yesterday's session, and the use of which we have recommended you to do for the coming session, okay, which is having an external file with the extension .css and then link that CSS style sheet within the HTML document, right? So these are the three types of CSS, or the types in which CSS can be attached to an HTML document. Now we'll talk about the order of precedence. So yes, as most of you have mentioned, inline CSS has the highest precedence, okay, and then it is followed by internal and then the external. So if I consider a particular element and try to style it in three different forms, right? If I try to style it and give some styling differently with inline, differently with internal, and again differently with external, what is expected to have as a styling in that element finally when it is rendered? It is that style which is given with the help of inline. Okay, so the inline styling has the highest precedence. And one thing that needs to be noted here is that when within internal CSS, let's talk about within internal, if I want to style one element differently, okay, we're talking about internal CSS and we're talking about styling one single element, the same element, differently through internal CSS. In that case, the latest one that you have written in the line 2, 3, 4, like that. So the first one, if you have given style, let's say I'm talking about a div tag. Okay, so if you give a styling to that with the help of internal, and if you said that, okay, I want this div, okay, considering div is a block element, I want that, okay, width is 1000 pixels. Okay, again, if you write again div within just after that line and say that, okay, I want a width of, let's say, 500 pixels. What is expected to come as an output or to be rendered output? It will have 500 pixels. Okay, so this order of precedence is something, order of precedence is there within the three different stylings, but it also follows the latest, okay, whatever you write. And there is one more thing, this I have mentioned for internal. If I write something within the body tag, see, this internal CSS is integrated into the HTML document in the head tag, okay, not in the body tag. That is a general practice. But if I try to do that within the body tag using the style attribute, okay, or using the style tag, let us say that, if I try to put styling to the same element, within the body after giving, or after or before, it doesn't matter, okay. Let's say again, I'll consider a div tag, okay, and I have styled that div tag with the help of inline CSS, okay. And now if I'm saying that I will be now adding an internal CSS with the help of style tag that is written after my inline uh, tag, okay. In that case, what is expected to come out as a result? In that case also, the browser will consider only the inline. So there the sequence doesn't matter. Okay, the sequence matter only when the style within the internal CSS, within the internal form of CSS, and when it is done outside the body. Okay, Okay, so that is the proper order of precedence. In short, you have to keep in mind, okay, inline is the something that has the highest precedence over everything. Now, before asking this question, Abhishek asked me, do you want to mention or specific rules on that, like what CSS we need to consider? So in that case, I did not want to add something that might confuse you. Okay, so there are ways in which we can, if we can put a certain precedence, right? If I want my internal CSS to overwrite my inline CSS, I can do that. Okay, but for that I need to apply some external properties, some external emphasis has to be given on that internal CSS. I need to specify that, okay, though I'm writing it in internal, I want it to have precedence over inline. Okay, so I have to mention that there. In that case, the order of precedence changes, but that's why we are saying that, but that we have not learned into in any of the lectures or videos that we have seen, right? So that's why we did not want you to confuse by adding more things. So the basic three modes of or styling the sheet are inline, internal, and external. And what has the precedence? Inline. Okay. So anything there is that I have confused you with, or you want to ask something? Please go ahead.
Sir, if an element is given two class names specified, separated by space,
Okay.
which one will take precedence in that? If there are two conflicting assignments.
Okay, so you are saying that an element is given two classes.
Yeah, if I say P class left up, space up.
Okay.
And in both I am in one I am saying border is 1 pixel, in the other I am saying border is 2 pixels.
Okay, and where are you writing this?
With inside P tag.
See, if you are defining class, why will you define the property itself there? What is the purpose of defining class?
I am defining the class there. I am calling it class left and class space top, and in a linked style sheet I am writing that I am assigning a property to that attribute.
Okay, in the link style sheet, so you're using external style sheet here.
Yes.
Okay.
But I am giving it two names. In the HTML file, I am giving class equals class 1 space class 2. So class 1 has a certain property, class 2 has a conflicting property.
Correct.
So which one takes precedence then?
So it depends on the sequence. So if in internal CSS, if you are specifying class 1, like it is class, right? So you have to specify internal CSS in what way? Dot class 1, whatever is the name and the attribute, the property. Okay.
The ordering is with respect to the ordering in the linked style sheet, external style sheet, or the way the order in which I specify within that tag.
In the ordering specified in the external style sheet. So see, what you do in inline CSS, that classes when you make, no, that is simply to create class. It will that does not have to do anything with the sequence.
Okay.
Okay, so if you are preparing, let's say 10 classes there, it doesn't matter what class you are using. If the styling matters on the sequence of classes that you have used in the external style sheet.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, so one thing I want to suggest is if you have any confusion, let's say there are things that don't come in mind right now. Okay, but when you go through creating something and then this things comes, okay, what will happen if I do this? You can simply do and see what happens. Okay. So if there is a doubt of creating, let's say, I'll take the example of previous question. Okay, so if I've created two classes And then what I'll do, I'll try to simply play around in the external style sheet. Okay, put this class first, what happens? Put that class first, what happens? Put two different properties in the same class, what happens? Two different property as in same property, different values, but in one class only, what will happen? Right? So how things get overwritten? If at all they get overwritten, in what case they will get overwritten? So that thing, if you want to know, you can simply make the style sheet and play around. And in case if there is a conflicting thing, okay, in that case, if I did this happen, same thing I'm doing again, and that is happening. So if the rules are not following, then in that case, it will be a better question to ask. Right? Okay, so anything else? With respect to this question? Okay, so if there are any questions, so there is a chance of arising more questions, you can simply play around and then you can ask in the forum. Okay, I think we can move ahead with this now. Hello, Abhishek. Okay.
त्याला कागदावर लिहून दिलं तरी ते शहाणा आहेच. कागद हरवला वाटतं त्याच्या.
Abhishek, are you there? Okay, I think there is a network problem from his end.
Call him. There is a, okay. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes, Naren.
So there is a like network issue at his end. So this is the question. You'll have to answer this question. What is meant by responsive design?
So it is still showing the previous question.
You can refresh.
Can you
your
please
session.
refresh your screen?
I refreshed it twice. Still it is showing the earlier one.
In the top corner of your screen, it says something went wrong, reload.
Just a minute, check me. Can you please refresh your screens again?
Yeah, now it has come.
Now it is loaded.
Adarsh, would you like to start the discussion?
Yeah, we can go ahead. Okay, so responsive design enables the elements within the DOM to organize themselves to fit different screen sizes. Okay, we have given an example of Bootstrap. Adjusting to different device interfaces. Screen size display OS. Okay, so one way of keeping it that can run on many devices by resizing content. So more or less, this is the same thing, right? Responsive design is something, or it is the design or capability of web pages that allows the web pages or the websites or the web apps to adapt to different screen sizes. Okay, so there is can be same app that we will be using on our laptops, our tabs, our phones, right? So these, but the same website does not appear in same way in all three different devices, right? So they have different appearance as in different sizes to each and every block that was made in the made for that website. So when we talk about, let's say we are considering a website, let's say Facebook. Okay, so the way Facebook renders in the desktop, the way it is rendered on the tab, and the way it is rendered on phone is different. So the main idea is to make the all the contents that was available on the larger screen to be available on the smaller screen as well. Okay, so the main concept of having responsive design is to have all the contents that was there in the bigger screen that should be there in the smaller screen without losing its meaning. Okay, without losing user the type of interaction user might have, the type of experience user might have with the desktop. Okay, so if the websites are not responsive enough, nobody would prefer talking about running them on smaller screen sizes, right? But today, I think for the websites or the for the sites like Facebook, we use phones more than laptops. Why is that? Because of their ability to be responsive, because of their ability to adjust to that smaller size form factor and give a better experience, right? So first, we also have to, initially when the browsers were not that advanced, we need to also look after that. But nowadays, even the browsers have capability. So when we capability as a, they show us how your web page would respond, right? So yesterday, while talking about or while making the web page, I should have shown you. I did not, but we'll show you later on that there is also an option which says that how your web page, as it was looking on the desktop screen, how it would look if you use it on tab, how it would look if you use it on phone. So that responsive experience was is also the like it's is also given as an option, as a provision in now in modern browsers or the updated browsers like Chrome and all, right? So it is a very important concept. It is a very important thing that web application should have. They should be responsive, right? So initially, some may have the confusion of having responsive. What is responsive? So it is not something that website give us. Okay, if I say hello to website, it should not respond back as hello. So that is not the responsive, right? So there I have had uh, uh, issues or talks where people said, okay, does that mean responsive in that sense? So that is not the responsive. Responsive is adapting to different screen sizes and without changing the user experience. That is responsive. Any confusion with this? So I guess you all understand what the responsive design is by the I can say that by your responses. Hello.
Yeah, Adarsh, you are audible.
Okay. So I guess that is it I want to say on responsive design. Anything else somebody would like to add or any doubt, please go ahead.
Sir, an example of responsive design can be seen while if someone is not well versed with coding, they can create a Google site, and in the settings of that, they send different types of options, like we can view it in tab, mobile, and web browser view. So how does it look at the user end? So That's something
Yeah,
we can.
yeah. That's what I mentioned. Yeah, were you there in the yesterday's session?
No, sir. Unfortunately, I wasn't there.
Okay.
So
Okay. So yesterday we created a web page. Okay, from the scratch. Added some stylings to it, and then so there is a thing called developer tools, right, which every browser provides. So nowadays the developer tools of the browser have that option of not only showing the elements and the stylings and the box model associated to it. It also shows, which you said, it also has the option of saying that, okay, so this is how your website web page particularly would look if it was rendered by the browser with on the desktop, or this was how it would look if it was rendered on the tab, or how it will look if it was rendered on the phone, right? So that option it gives us. So in that case, if let's say if I'm designing a web page, and then it looks pretty well on a desktop, and then when I move to that particular option and say that, okay, tell me how it would look on the mobile phone, and if it was not looking organized, it was not giving me the better the experience that it was giving me on desktop, I can arrange it in that way. So that option also the browsers provide nowadays. So later on, if we get a chance to take a session on that, we'll definitely do it.
okay, sir. Sir, just one doubt, as you mentioned about similar, like we should get a similar experience in mobile and all and web browsers. So one basic doubt, like it's very basic about web app development. So taking an example of Facebook. So the Facebook we use on web browser, like searching on Google and then going through it in our laptops, and the Facebook app that we use are both considered as web apps, or instead of using a Facebook app inside a phone, we should go to the Facebook site using Google Chrome, which is the web app. Is it the Facebook app on phone, or the Facebook website via Google Chrome?
You can do both, right? See, if you have an app, right, and .apk file, that is an app. So it cannot do anything but provide you what Facebook does. Okay, but if you go to browser and search for facebook.com, what is that website? So that is Facebook's website. And what is my app there? The search engine, the web browser is the app. So I'm running a website on a web app. In that case, it is not. That is one way, and the other way is to use the app, which is particularly Facebook's app.
Sir, so what is the difference between web application and Android application? Like the application we install in our phones, like whether it be Android or iOS. What's the difference between web application and Android application?
Uh, I think one major difference is to have that privacy, right? In apps, it will have its own login, like login page. Like what I'm saying is, like in the website that you use, okay, in the website it will be giving you that name, ID, password and all, okay, but app is something that is that will have not only your interface within itself, but it will also secure your data within itself.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So that is one of the differences. I cannot list out, there are many. Okay, there are ways in which both of them function differently. Okay, and it also talks about platform. Your app will not run on your website, sorry, on your desktop. The mobile app which you are downloading, it will not run on your desktop, but the website, it will run on the browser, any browser. May that browser be on the your desktop, may that browser be on your phone, it will run. So web apps are what we say, uh, are platform independent, right? You just need a browser. But an app that, let's say we're talking about Android app, it will require an Android device.
So the Facebook that we are using for a responsive design in our phone, suppose the Facebook app, so that is not considered as a web app, right? Because that is not something that
Cannot simp up in every browser, therefore it is a web app. And this one is running only on my phone, therefore it is not a web app. It is not like that. It depends on the platform. It depends on what type of architecture it had within, right? So there is not only the net connectivity that we are talking about. There is a broader concept to that.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So
sir.
it's like the question you have asked, whose answer I cannot give in some couple of statements.
Yeah, sir. I can understand it's a broad concept and the line is not clear. Like,
Yeah, exactly. So if you understand that, your understanding is pretty well.
yes, sir. I can. I can. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Anything else?
Anyone has any queries? So please ask, else we can move on to the next question. Next slide.
I think we can move ahead because I think there is most of things have been discussed that is there for responsive design at this point of time. I think we
Okay,
can
so
move ahead.
well, this is the question, and yeah, this is the question that every one of you might have when you started learning HTML language. So the question is that is HTML a programming language or not? So we'll won't be expecting yes or no here. Yeah, maybe you could give those answers, but it's better to provide an explanation to support your stand. Why you think so? If it is, why? If not, why? Well, I hope you are able to see this question on your screen, right?
Yes, yes.
That means those who are using menti.com, are you able to see this question?
Yes, sir.
Well, we just have got one response till now. We are waiting for all of your responses. Well, this is a question which requires a big discussion. So I hope you all will take a part in this discussion. Well, we'll request all of you to please give your answers. We just have got 5 responses out of the 15 people that we have in this meeting. Okay, 8 responses, all right. Nine. Well, we have 10 responses. I guess this is good enough to open up the discussion. So let's see what are the responses we have got. Okay. So someone has written, no, it's not. It is a markup language with very small capability to do some basic mathematical calculation, as programming languages do. Well, that is again debatable, right? If you consider markup as programming language, then yes, it is, because there is no variable to store. Also, no conditional things are available like Python. Okay, nice. So don't have the capability of programming language in HTML. Not possible to write. No, it's a markup. One step above latex. Can be descriptive. It's like a word processor. Okay. So I guess most of the people are on the stand that it's not a programming language. So anyone of you would like to elaborate why you think it's not a programming language? Whatever you have written here, maybe there are some constraints that your answer cannot exceed 150 characters. So maybe you could unmute and speak something to support whatever answer you have given here. Anyone? By the way, am I audible?
Yes, sir. So
Yes.
before answering, sir, one small doubt, sir. Is calculations like basic calculation like addition, subtraction, is it possible on HTML, or is it completely on the client side or the server side?
Well, you could use JavaScript to do that.
So
It doesn't matter you are doing it on client side or server side. It can be done either ways.
so it is it like possible inbuilt inside HTML, like we do the styling, right, in HTML and CSS combined? So
No,
can
no.
we
See,
write
see,
some
see.
basic functions of additions and subtraction in HTML?
The question is only focusing on the HTML. Maybe we can initiate this HTML along with CSS later. For now, the question is only for HTML. Yeah, means if you will try to combine CSS with HTML, so because it becomes really powerful and you can do many stuffs. We'll discuss over those. Okay.
Okay, sir.
For now, let's discuss about HTML only alone. HTML alone without CSS.
Okay, sir.
Well, anyone would like to speak why they think HTML is not a programming language? Because from the responses we have got here, looks like everyone is of the stand that it's not. Okay, so one is interested as of now. All right, so let us first try to understand what actually a programming language is. Okay, how many of you are aware about imperative and declarative programming languages? Anyone of you have any idea? Imperative language or a declarative language?
Is it like in one of them we ask what is the procedure through which we can reach to an answer, and another one we just ask that what is the value?
Very good. Yeah, that is actually the focus. Yes, definitely. Anyone else would like to answer the difference between imperative and the declarative programming language? Okay. Well, so the way you answered it is completely correct. The imperative is the one where we actually focus on how to get the work done. Like how should we implement a particular or a given functionality? Let's try to take it with the help of an example. Suppose we are trying to write a program. Let's say we are trying to write a program to add two numbers, right? Or add two numbers, I guess it will become too simple. So, okay, let's take an example of an Armstrong number. So, do you guys know what an Armstrong number is?
A distance between some solar type, or I guess angstrom number.
Sorry.
No, sir, we are not aware of that number.
Okay. Let's not take Armstrong then. I hope you are aware about palindrome number.
Yes, sir, palindrome, the one which seems equal on seeing from either side.
Yeah, exactly. The reverse of the number should be same.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I could go on to the print. Just a minute. Let me try to delete it. Well, I hope you could see my paint screen now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. For example, since all of you have done Python language, so let me just try to give a small example about Python. I won't go into the code. This is how we define functions in Python. Let's say define whatever the name of the function is. Let's say ABC. It is accepting some argument. Let's say whatever it is, I don't know. And within that, I am writing some functionality in order to check whether a number is palindrome or not. Now, since I have defined this function here, whenever I want to use that function, can I make a function call? I can make a function call like this. Is it okay? I can pass some parameters here. Is it correct? Can we do it in Python?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's correct. So this is basically an example of an imperative. The traditional programming languages that you are aware of, like C, C++, Python, Java. So these are the languages which are able to perform all of the control structures, the conditional branchings, and all. And here the focus is how to get the answer, how to get the implementation done. So here you need to emphasize on how this function should be implemented, this ABC. This thing, of course, you will use it later on, this function call, but the focus will be on how to write the code that we will get the required output. This is what an imperative language will do for you. But if we will talk about declarative language, so declarative, the focus will shift to what is the output. We are not anyway concerned about how shall we implement that functionality, what code shall we write or how shall we design it. Right? The only thing is we need to worry about is the output that we are getting is correct or not. So here we will just ask a question, what? And here, in case of imperative, we will ask a question, how? Now, if we will talk about declarative, so one of the example of declarative languages is, let's say functional languages. Let's take functional. That would actually more fit here. So in functional, what we'll do is we will work with function calls, maybe with some type of recursion calls also. Recursion means calling same function again and again within that same function. I hope you know about recursion, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now, if I want to write a similar type of code that I have written in Python, let's say this is the imperative example. This is imperative, and this is the declarative, or we are specifically taking an example of functional language. we will again give a function call. We will say ABC. But this time, we are not worried about the implementation of this, what this function is doing and how this is written. I will just pass my arguments, whatever I want to. I will accept. Am I getting what I want to get? So this functional paradigm, this is actually providing us a high level of abstraction. Right? We just know the name of the function. Okay, this is the name of the function, whatever it is. We have to pass this argument to this function and we will get the result. We don't know how this function is implemented in action. The same thing needs to be done explicitly in case of imperative language. We need to define that function definition explicitly. But here, we are not worried about that anything anymore. We are just worrying about what is the output that we are getting. Now, why I am going into these imperative and declarative or this functional programming language, as I want to relate HTML to this functional paradigm. Let me show you how. Well, I guess imperative won't be of that much use here, so I can delete. Okay, so maybe you could find some conflicting arguments that HTML can act as a programming language in some ways. Maybe, of course, it's not completely correct, but some people will argue it can act as a programming language. And let me tell you what their point of view is. In HTML, as all of you know, that we use tags in order to define the content of a document. Right? Let's take a specific example. Let's say a P. Sorry, let me change the pen. Let's take the example of P tag. We will define P. We will write some content here. Let's say paragraph. And we will close it again. Is it the correct syntax to define a paragraph in HTML?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let me try to put up my screen. But I'm sorry.
We need to put it under either body and head, and it is correct. This is correct.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Now, how I'm trying to relate this statement to this functional paradigm, let me explain you that. What I am saying here is that this P tag is actually a function, which is accepting an argument that is given as the content. So this paragraph is given as an argument to this function P. Now, since in HTML, we don't have any way that we could tell the browser or the interpreter, whatever is interpreting this code, that when we are ending our argument, when we are ending the content or the parameter that we are passing to this P function. So in order to signify that we are done with passing the argument, this is it. We don't want to pass anything else. What we are doing is we are using the function name again with a special symbol / in order to signify the interpreter. Let's see, I am done. You could take this as argument and you could give this argument to a function called P. And what this function P is doing, this is returning us a paragraph. Are you able to get my point? What I'm trying to explain?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else would like to say anything here? Is what we have done. What we have done till now. Anyone? Okay. Well, yeah. So the reason why I took this imperative, this functional programming paradigm, in order to relate this, that this P or any other tag, I just took this P, maybe you could take H, you could take anything else. The tag name, you have to provide some content corresponding to that tag. But since here, we don't have any way that we can signify the interpreter that we are done giving the arguments. So we are using a different type of, a special type of, you could understand it as delimiter or maybe EOL, maybe end of line character, right? Which will signify that you are done with the arguments. So we are using the function name again with a special symbol of this / to signify we are done. Now this is this content, whatever we have given in between these, this would be given to this P function, and this would give us a paragraph in return. So in this way, we can say that HTML is acting as a functional programming language. It follows the functional paradigm. Does anyone agree with it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it is quite similar to we can call SQL to be a type of declarative, and in that the way we call some value from the database is something similar to how we call value from the paragraph, I think.
See, SQL is a different kind of thing. There we can create our own variables as well. We could do so many other things also. Okay, it provides a lot of means to work with the data, but here we are bound. We cannot use any type of variable here. We are talking about HTML alone, right? CSS is not included in any way here.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So in this way, we could say this HTML is acting, or it is following a paradigm called functional paradigm, which comes under a declarative language. But is a language following this paradigm, is it the only factor to decide it acts that it will act as a programming language? Well, it's a question to all of you. Is this the only factor that can decide a language can qualify as a programming language? No, it's not. We have one more thing, that is Turing complete. Does anyone know what does this Turing complete mean? Yes, anyone knows what is Turing complete, or what is meant by Turing complete? Okay, so a language, if it needs to be a programming language, or to qualify for a programming language, a language should be a Turing complete. Now, what do I mean by saying it should be Turing complete? Well, let's just talk about some specific points. The first one is that it should have a decision-taking capability. Now, what do I mean by decision-taking means? It should have control structures or conditional branching, like, if else, or maybe some kind of loop for while, etc. This is the first thing. The second thing is the language should be able to read or write the data into the memory. Now, we are concerned about the memory or the data. We should be able to read or write. Now, if we'll talk about some traditional programming languages, let's talk about Python also. So you know that you could create variables there, and those variables will get stored somewhere in the memory, right? But is it possible any of these 2 points? Does HTML qualify for any of these 2 points? Does HTML has the feature of conditional branching? Is it capable of making the decisions? Anyone would like to answer? By the way, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Sir, before answering, sir, one small doubt.
Yeah.
So the definition of a programming language, if we consider the basic definition, I think it is a language that can turn our codes to the zeros and one that actually the machine understand and the machine can run. So the computation power, or the if or while kind of power, is it not to the operating system or the basic computer that it has, and programming language is just a way to communicate our thoughts to the computer. And if it is so, then isn't HTML doing a similar kind of task where we are passing our language to the browser, and the browser is browser is translating or editing it according to the user interface? This is small doubt I have.
Okay, see, the point is you are still able to convert whatever HTML document you have written in the form of bytes. Do you agree with it? Because we are using some kind of encoding schemes like UTF-8 or some others, right? What they will do, they will actually convert your data into some sequence of bits. As I guess we have seen it in the, I guess, last to last session, how this UTF-8 works. We have code points for each and every character, and we convert each of those code points into a sequence of bits by using the prefix coding, right?
Yes, sir.
So we are able to convert even HTML language into sequence of bits. But the thing is that can we implement this functionality? As you were asking, can we implement this functionality with the help of it? Can HTML interact with the memory? Can it read?
Sir.
Can it write?
No, sir.
It cannot. So these are the two factors that won't let HTML qualify as a programming language.
Sir, what happens when we download a media file from from internet? Actually, it's the HTML code that is helping in interaction with the client side, but ultimately a PDF suppose gets downloaded into our system and saved in memory. Is it not interaction
No,
of
please,
memory?
please don't relate it. There, you cannot do it with the help of HTML alone. You will be using CSS. You will be using some backend. There are so many technologies out there, right? It cannot be done with HTML alone. You are using some other things also, right?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
We are just concerned about HTML alone, not anything else. Well, if we will include CSS, we could do much more things, much more stuff. But the question is HTML. So
Okay,
yeah, we discussed that in some sense, it can actually follow functional paradigm, functional programming paradigm. But these are the two factors which won't let it to be a complete programming language.
Yes, sir.
So ultimately, all of your answers are correct. That HTML is not a programming language. It is not Turing complete. And one of the reason is it is not even general purpose. HTML can't help us in order to solve a problem, in order to solve or maybe do some, well, let's not go into those. You could just understand we are not able to implement any of these conditional branching or conditional or control structures with the help of HTML. So it can't qualify for a program as a programming language. Is it okay? Is it understood to everyone? Well, is it understood to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, all of your answers were correct. That HTML doesn't qualify to be a complete programming language. Now, let's discuss that point. Someone was asking that if we will try to put up HTML and CSS together. Yes. If you will try to put HTML and CSS together, there are some set of functionalities also, or maybe some set of constraints that you need to add, some specific conditions, in which way both of these languages combined can act as a Turing complete. You could even define some variables that can interact with the memory. Yeah, someone has raised hand. Can you please go ahead?
So one doubt here.
Yeah.
So like we can't keep a conditional decisions like for while in HTML, but still HTML decides what to take in its styles or inline styles or read it from IDs from the styles, right? So it itself
that is on the browser.
Decision taking.
That is on the browser. That is on the browser.
Okay. 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 Then so even if we include script in the head, so isn't it kind of read?
See, when you are saying that it is able to differentiate which kind of styling is to be applied. Well, that actually is being done with the help of some parser. Like whatever. There are some rules that have been fed into the browser that this type of CSS should be given the highest priority. And in case of clashes, like someone had asked that if we will have two classes associated to the same tag, which one will take the precedence? So the one which is defined later on.
Later on.
Order will matter. Right?
Yes. Okay. So it's taken care by the browser, the parser, not the HTML.
Yes. Yeah. HTML cannot perform the conditional branching alone. As I said, if you will try to include CSS, it could act as a Turing complete in some way. But of course, there are so many other set of conditions that you need to assume or you need to apply there. Yeah, but ultimately the answer will remain same. HTML is not a programming language. I just try to give you a whole idea that, of course, some people can actually argue this, that it follows this paradigm, it should be considered. But there are so many other factors also that it is not following. And those are actually mandatory for a language to become a programming language. Okay, so does anyone has any doubt with respect to this question? HTML is a programming language or not? Yes, anyone?
Sir, I have a doubt, but it came from this question, but it is regarding a previous question regarding the order of precedence. So we say CSS to be cascading style sheets, and we use it for styling inside HTML. So, sir, what is the difference? So, suppose we are declaring a header H1, and we are declaring some parameter, suppose it is bold and the color is blue, inside that only, that is called inline, I guess. So while using inline, are we using CSS kind of markup language or styling inside another markup language like HTML? Or
of course, see, HTML language, it can be a combination of CSS. You could include JavaScript here. You could even include your PHP code in an HTML document. Right? For example, if you need to include CSS, let's keep the inline thing apart. If you try to keep it internal CSS, like you need to use the style tag, right? You are specifying whatever I will write inside this two set of style attributes, that would be considered by as the CSS. While if you will try to use the JavaScript, so you will have to use the script tag. You will have to define the source where you are taking it from. If you are using an external JavaScript sheet, a file, but if you want to define it within an HTML document, it's very much possible. You could write your code within the script tag. Well, if we'll talk about some backend languages, let's talk about PHP. So PHP can also be embedded in an HTML document. You have to use angular brackets, question mark PHP, something like that, a syntax, and you are able to embed that code also in an HTML document.
so, sir, does this mean that CSS alone, like apart from leaving HTML, CSS alone, or consider, for example, JavaScript alone is not capable of doing the stuff?
JavaScript is a complete programming language. JavaScript is able to perform all of the Turing complete operations. It is able to use variables. It is able to use loops and conditional branches, if and else, and etc.
So there is no clear line between HTML alone and CSS inbuilt in that, or is it like we use CSS always inside HTML?
Well, of course, why do we need CSS if we are not writing any corresponding HTML today? What will you do with that CSS?
Right, sir. Right. So, like I was confused between the basic definition of why CSS, like why there is a separate CSS we call it, and what is the difference in between the codes that we write in HTML that makes up the styling. So it's the CSS, even if it's a very small header declaration about what should be the font and what should be the color, right?
Yeah, of course, it's CSS. Yeah. However, there
without-
are some HTML attributes that you could use, right? The traditional HTML attributes. But if you want to apply some CSS, yes, you will have to specify. Like you mentioned, the inline, you have to use style for sure if you are trying to embed CSS in the in the HTML document itself. However, you could use the link tag for referring to an external style.
Okay, sir. Got it. So thank you.
For even for inline style, you need to use the style attribute. That is, of course, with every HTML tag.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So HTML does not come up with its own way of declaring the header. Suppose we want to make it bold, so it's always some combination from other files. Suppose JavaScript or CSS, we have to take in place, like take in hand.
Yes, there might be some, as you know, there are so many HTML attributes also that you could use in place of CSS. But of course, CSS is easy to use if we will use it along with the HTML. So of course, that's why we prefer it.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Got it. Thank you.
Well, anyone has any other question? I hope you at least got the whole idea why HTML is not considered as a programming language. What are the different factors that are not aligned to let it be?
Yes, sir.
I guess we can move to the next question in that case. All right, so let's move to the next question. Okay, I get. Oh, we have got 17 responses now. Well, please refresh your screens again in case you have logged out of menti.com. Please log on again. The code is provided at the top of the screen, 44149859. And this is the question that we want all of you to please answer. What do you mean by the Huffman encoding? Or what do you think its applications are? And yeah, whatever you know, you could simply write whatever the limit is provided there in menti.com, I guess 150 characters. In case you want to elaborate it, maybe once we'll open up the responses, you could try elaborating that. We'll try to understand what it actually is with the help of an example. We have got the first response. Well, two responses. We'll encourage all of you to please give whatever you mean by or whatever you understand with this. Okay, 4 responses. Let's just wait for 3 or 4 more responses, then we'll start. Okay, 6 responses. All right, I guess we should start the discussion. What are the responses? Only Huffman knows. Okay. It's a lossless data encoding algorithm that does variable length encoding, correct? Lossless variable length encoding, frequency distribution of the alphabet is used. Very good. It is an encoding scheme used to compress data by seeing which character occurs most and apply it less bit size to mean the number of bits. Okay. Which character occurs less and apply it with bigger, correct? Huffman encoding is coding standard where each code is unique, no code is prefix of others. Very good. Huffman coding is used for nebulizing the text into. Okay. Well, any one of you would like to elaborate whatever you have written here? Particular type of optimal prefix code that is commonly used for useless data compression. Okay. By the way, anyone would like to share any applications that you know? Where Huffman encoding is used in real? Okay. Anyone would like to say whatever they have written here? If you would like to explain, what does it mean? Well, in that case, let's start. Okay, so yeah, most of you have written that Huffman encoding is a variable length encoding, and that's correct. Yeah, so it actually depends on the frequencies and on the characters, the number of characters you are using in the document. Yeah. So that actually depends. It's a variable length encoding, and each of the character will get a we should say a variable length code, right? And yeah, one of the I guess 1 or 2 people also mentioned that it depends on the frequency of the characters, definitely. So if we will talk about the efficiency, so here's the efficiency, right? Means we are firstly, considering that how many characters are we are encountering very frequently in that document. So what we'll do is we will try to encode that character with the least number of bits as possible. And those who are not occurring very often, we will try to give some codes to them. And there is one thing that is certain, that the code that is given to one character, it will not act as a prefix to the code of any other character. Let me just repeat it again. The code that is assigned to one character in Huffman encoding, it won't be a prefix for any of the other characters. Well, it might be blurry for you. Let me just try to take an example and elaborate it. So yeah, as I guess some of you have written that it actually works on the frequencies. So let us consider a document which is just having 5 characters. We won't be taking a complex example, of course. Let's just say we have 5 characters. One is let's say A. We have one more character B. Let's say C, D, and let's take it one more. Okay. We have 5 characters, and what we are given is we are given the frequency of each of the character, how many times they are occurring in the document. So let us consider that A is occurring, let's say 2 times, B is occurring, let's say 5 times, C is occurring, let's say 19. This is just a random number. It might be, let's say 23, 42. So ultimately we have to sort them in an order. So I have just written that order as it is, right? So that I don't have to sort it later on. Now I'll just write this in the form of a queue here. 2, 5, 19, 23, and 42. Okay. So what we will do is we actually have to create a heap here. We have to create a tree-like structure. We'll see how do we create it. In order to start with the tree-like structure with that heap, what we'll do is we will pick out the first two least elements from our data or from the occurrences. So we know that A is occurring 2 times, B is occurring 5 times, and these are the 2 least frequencies. So we'll start with these 2. What we'll do is, let's say, okay, let's write 2 here, and let's write 5 here. And this 2 is actually for A, this 5 is actually for B. This is telling us that this 2 is the number of occurrences for A, 5 is the number of occurrences for this B character. What we will do is we will do their sum. And of course, 5 plus 2 will make 7. So they both will make 7 if we will sum them up. Now, what we will do is we will pop these 2 items from our queue, and we will append, or we will put 7 into the queue and in the order that we want it to be, right? That means our final queue should also be arranged in an ascending order as well. You could, of course, reverse the order if you want to do it right from the beginning. I am just taking it as ascending order only. So what I'm doing is I am taking out 2 and 5. Okay, so coincidentally 7 will come here, 19 here, 23 here, 42 here. Are you able to get it? What I'm doing here? Is there any step that is blurry? Are you able to get me? Adarsh, am I audible?
Yes, Abhishek, you are.
Well, anyone has any issue understanding it till now? It looks like no one has. Yeah. So what we have done is we have created a new queue with some new elements. So now we will again pick out the first 2 elements, the first 2 least elements from this list, or sorry, from this queue, 7 and 19. So you could see we already have put 7 into our heap. What we will do is we will put this 19 now. We'll put this 19 now. And we know that this 19 is the occurrence of which character? C character. What we'll do, we will again do their sum. So 19 and 7, they will make 26. Right. So again, we will have to restructure a queue. Now 7 and 19 will be popped out, and we have to put 26 into the queue. This time 26 will come after 23. Right. So this is a new queue, 23, 26, 42. Now we already have 26 in a heap. What we'll do is we will put 23 here. And this is the occurrence for D character. And again, we will do their sum. So 23 and 26, what will they make? They'll make 49. Right. Now we got one more element here, 49. So we will again take out of at least 2 elements and we'll put 49 here. So 23 and 26 will move out. We will have 42 remaining and we will put one more, that is 49. Now 49 is already there in the heap. We will put 42 here. And 42 is what? It is the occurrence of key character. Now what this will do, this will again create a new heap, new element. 42 plus 49, it will make 91. Sorry for the space here. I guess it is visible. Is it visible? 91. Well, is it visible? Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. 91 is visible.
Okay. Yeah. So now what we have done is, okay, now 42 and 49 are also out. And what we have got is, we have got 91 elements. Now, since we have a queue of just one element, we will stop this process. Right? We have to repeat each and this step till our queue will end up having only one element. So now our queue is having only one element. Okay. So we have created some type of key. And what we will do is, we will start assigning some bits. Right? For example, this 91 is the root node of this tree. What will I do? I will follow a pattern. Let's say on the left hand side, I will put 0. On the right hand side, I will put 1. This you could do yourself. You could even do 1 here and 0 here. But remember, the same thing needs to be followed for other nodes also. I have used 0 for left, 1 for right. The same way, 0 for left, 1 for right. 0 for left, 1 for right. 0 for left, 1 for right. Now, we are ready to get a final output. Let's see what each of the character, what code each of the character will get. So A, B, C, D, and E here. So let's start with A. So we have to start from the root node, and we have to come till A. So which path shall we follow? We have to go here on the right hand side, because this 2 will only, we will only be able to encounter 2 if we will pass through the right hand side. Right? Go to right. So we will write here 1. Sorry. Let me erase it. So the very first thing is 1. So we will come here with this one. Now after that, we have to again go to right in order to encounter this A. So again, one more 1. Now this time we have to go towards left. So this time 0. Now from this 0, we are here at 7. Again, we have to go left. That means 1 more. So this 1100 is the code for this A character. Are you able to understand how this A is given this code 1100?
Yes, sir.
Now let's talk about B. So for B, what we need to do, we will go 1, 1, 0, and 1. So 1, 1, 0, and 1. Please let me know if you are having any difficulties in order to pass this one. How do we get this 1101? See, we go here 1, then we again go right side 1, then we go left 0, then we go right 1. Now let's go for C. So C is here. We will have to go first right 1, 1, and 1. So the code for C will be 1, 1, and 1. Now let's count the code for D. Let's try to compute it. D is here. The simple code will be 1, 0. 1, 0. And the code for E, it's the simplest one, that is 0 itself. Now the very first thing that I want to prove here is the element or the character that was occurring for the most number of times, that was E. We are able to represent it with the least number of bits, that is just 1 bit here in this case. Right? The one with the least frequencies, that is A, is using the maximum number of bits. Right? Yeah, it's the joint maximum number of bits along with B, but still it's the maximum. And as you can interpret out of these codes, suppose E, 0. So this 0 will never be a prefix of any other code. None of the code is starting with 0. If we talk about 1, 0, So nothing will start with 1 0. If you will talk about 111, nothing will start with 111. And of course, this you will never encounter the same. So is this example clear? Are you able to understand how do we compute the codes in by using Huffman coding?
Sir, so do we need to store this tree along with this code, right?
Yeah, this tree is just for your knowledge. Like at last, we need to get these codes.
Okay. Okay.
This is
yes,
how
sir.
this is how the interpreter will interpret. This is just to show you how it is being done in backend.
So suppose we want to know about A. So the interpreter will read 1100 and then it will go to the tree and read the corresponding path of 1100 and then report 2 to be the value of A.
Yeah. So this is how you will encode. Now, of course, if you are encoding that document, you might be doing it for sharing it with others, right? Now, once you will send this document to a different person, and if that person is using the same Huffman encoding, like the same technique, so of course the same thing, the same type of decoding will happen. 1100, it will parse this tree and will see, okay, but this 1100, this is how it will run.
Okay, sir. Got it.
The encoding should be same at both ends, the sending end and the receiving. Else it will be problematic, won't be able to decode.
Yes, sir.
And of course, this Huffman coding is used many zip programs also, WinZip and all. Like it's the efficient coding. As why efficient? Because it's a variable length encoding. The character which is occurring for the most number of times in the document will get the least number of bits. Okay, so any other doubt?
Sir, are zip file the ones we use for compression?
Yes.
So, sir,
yeah,
I cannot understand one point. Like we are still storing 2 as a value in some tree, and then we are saying that we are reducing the, like we are doing the compression. So where exactly is the reduction in size? Where exactly is the compression of document? I am not able to understand, because earlier we were storing A to be 2, B to be 5, C to be 19, D 23 and E 42, and we are still doing it. We are just doing code, like we are writing 1100, and along with that we have to store this tree also, which ultimately contains the same value that earlier the list was containing. So
see,
where
this tree won't take much, right? If you will try to compare this encoding with any other, let's take the original one, let's take the ASCII one. Okay, let's forget about the frequencies as of now. Let's just consider we have a document having a single occurrence of each of these characters. If we will go for the 7-bit ASCII, right? So 7 into 5, that will actually take 35 bits, right? And how many are we consuming as of now? If you will count the number of bits here.
Yes, sir, it is consuming very low in comparison to that.
Right?
Yes, sir. So
this is how the compression is.
So this is basically so that we don't have to store independent A 2 times and E 42 times. So we are storing this code, and along with we are passing this tree.
Yeah. So whenever it will encounter 1100, so it will say that means it should be A at its place.
Okay, so got it. So just one very small doubt. So in while doing a video compression, suppose, so what it does is it sees a particular image, and then if the next image is having a white area similar to that of the previous image in same color, so it only stores the pixel, the location of that pixel, and it stores the frequency with which it is occurring. So suppose in 35 images, if the first pixel is white, it will store first pixel to be white 35 times. Is it similar to this thing which we are doing here?
Yeah, compression actually means the same.
Okay, sir.
You
okay.
somehow are trying to make your communication happen more efficiently, so that you don't have to use.
But apart from the the actual frequency of the information that we have? Don't we need to store the exact location of the, suppose the encoding was A, B, C, and then A, B, B, B. So the location of the A's also matter, right? Apart from frequency of A. So aren't we losing on that information while doing this compression?
I guess you are confusing a bit here. See, suppose if we have a document, let's say A, B, C, A, B, B, as you mentioned. Okay.
Yes, sir. Any encoding?
Sorry.
Any sequence, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
A, B,
any
B.
sequence. Okay. So what will it do is it will actually put corresponding code to that character. For example, if A is taking 1100, so what will it do is it will put 1100 at place of A. If it will encounter B, it will put 1101 in place of B. If it will encounter C, it will put 111 there.
Okay, so in place of individual letter, it is writing the codes.
Yeah. But if you will try to compare it with some other encoding techniques, so the each character will take 8 bits. But now we have decreased those number of bits from 8 to sometimes 1 or sometimes even smaller than.
Okay, so it is equal to the UCS4. Suppose we are storing A. So it is using those, suppose it is using all the ASCII bits. And now when we are storing just ones and zeros, it is taking just 4 bits.
See, if you talk about UCF4, so that would take 4 bytes for each character. That means 32 bits.
Yeah, and here it is taking just 4 bits.
Yeah, of course, the character that is occurring for the least number of times, that is taking a maximum of 4 bits. So you could understand how efficient it is.
Yes, sir. Now I got it. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So does anyone has any other query? Yes, anyone?
Will any questions related to this Huffman encoding be asked during a quiz?
No. This is just for your knowledge. This is just for your knowledge. We have
so one doubt.
Yeah.
So how would the interpreter know, like while decoding? I mean, if we have 0, it is E, right? So how would it know where to stop for that specific character?
I'm not able to get you.
Sorry, I mean, in sense, if we have a sequence ABC and we have used a Huffman encoding, and while decoding the same to get ABC, how the interpreter will know like where to stop it as A and where to start it as D? That's my question.
Yeah, that's why, if we don't have that prefix coding like thing, no, this would actually confuse the interpreter. Where should I stop? But now if we have this variable length, or we have a completely different code for each of the character, there should not be any problem with it. I am not sure if I'm able to understand your problem exactly.
My question is actually like I have this doubt, like while decoding the same, well, all of them in ones and zeros, right?
Okay.
So how will the interpreter know like where to stop it as and identify it as A and where to start for B? That's my question.
Yeah, so I'm trying to answer this. See, each of the character is assigned a different code. Doesn't matter which encoding scheme you are using. Right? So that uniqueness will help the interpreter to understand, okay, this corresponds to a single character.
Okay, got it.
Hello,
Excuse
are you
me,
able to?
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm having one doubt regarding yesterday's session.
Yes, please go ahead.
The assignment that is given where the table has been shown that has a fine border. Hello.
Yeah, yes, yes.
But when I'm creating a table with a border, say of 1 pixel, that's coming as a double line. So will it be considered, or we need to try for the single line table?
Yes, we will have to look into it. The output should look exactly the same as mentioned in the speech.
Okay, sir.
We'll have to do
So
some work
means
around.
some tags are mentioned over there, but additional properties we can use. Na? Inline CSS is allowed in HTML or not?
No, no, no. See, the first assignment, that is HTML1, you are not
HTML.
allowed to use the CSS by any means in that assignment. You just have to use HTML also.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, fine.
When we upload the assignment, will we immediately get to know whether it has passed all the test cases and all that?
The final score you will get after the deadline only. But yeah, a small feedback you will definitely get. We are still working on it. We'll let you know how the submission link will work. We are still working on it.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, by the way, how many of you are done writing your lab assignments for week 2? Both of them? Or maybe reaching towards the end? You can see 1, 2.
Sir, are the lab assignments graded?
Sorry?
Are the lab assignments graded?
Yes, they are graded.
Oh, okay. Then what's the deadline? I can't see the deadline on the page.
Okay. So the deadline for week 2 lab assignments, it's been extended.
Okay.
Previously it was 19th. It is extended. So we'll put an announcement what the new deadline is. But yeah, the thing that is certain, it's extended as of now.
Okay, so thank you.
It's only for the lab assignments, right? Not for the graded assignments.
Yes. Only for the lab assignment.
Okay. Anyone else want to ask anything? So is it a good time to close this session then, Adarsh?
Yeah, I think so. If there is no doubt, we can close this session.
All right. So yeah, thank you everyone. Thanks all of you for joining in this session. I hope you find this session insightful. So I wish you a very happy weekend, and we'll meet in the live sessions for week 3 then on Wednesday. All right. So wish you a very happy weekend. Thank you, all of you. Bye bye. Okay, so looks like we have just a team here. So can we meet for an hour? Sorry, for half an hour. Actually, we need to segregate.
When now?
Wait, Adarsh, wait.
When? Hello, Abhishek.
Yeah, Adarsh, wait, please.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so we can leave this session then. We can leave the